Jed Hoyer making it clear that the Cubs are going to be in the market for pitching, and it's going to be a seller's market this year. We'll get into that. Cubs sign Genesis Cabrera. You remember him, a divisional foe in the past. DFA'd by the Mets, and now the Cubs have him. We'll get into that. Shōta Imanaga could be back soon. And is Ben Brown going to be the odd man out in the Cubs bullpen? All that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you guys for hanging with us as you do every day. Appreciate all of you guys. Let's go. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball channel. Appreciate all of you guys for hanging here today. Like and subscribe, thumbs up. I ask you guys that all the time. I know Cardinals fans are like, that's a lot to do. Cubs fans, you guys got that. Hit the bell so you know when we're dropping live content. We do that sometimes when breaking news happens, right? All right, well, let's get into this right now. Jed Hoyer met with the media, and he talked about a lot of stuff. It was a long press conference, but one of the things he said was, we just need to get outs, you know. And he was basically relating that to something that Craig Counsell had said, and that the Cubs need some help pitching, and that they kind of feel like it's going to be a seller's market, which makes perfect sense because there's a lot of teams that are still in the mix. There's not a lot of teams that are out right now. So, I mean, and that's kind of what we're seeing right now with the expanded wild card, is that it really is a seller's market. But this Cubs team's in first place. They've navigated through Justin Steele's season-ending injury. Shōta Imanaga's out. They're only all-star from last year. They haven't gotten any contributions from Javier Assad. Jordan Wicks isn't available to him, hasn't been part of this rotation, hasn't been in the staff. You know, they found ways to get outs. But as this season progresses, that's another area where the Cubs are going to try to continue to find a way to improve. So as interesting as that is, what does that mean, right? Well, it just means that the Cubs are going to be out there trying to find help. And what you hope is that they find the kind of help that makes a difference. And if they're going to do that, and it's a seller's market, that means they're going to have to give up some prize prospects probably to get those type of players. And, you know, we're not even in June yet. And what I mean by that is we're not to the point where teams are even trading. I mean, midway June would be really early. For the trade deadline to really, for the trade market to really start amping up, right? So look for the Cubs. They've got some guys in AAA. They've got some talent in this organization. What are they willing to give up? You know, it's going to be interesting to see. I think they need another starter. And, we're going to talk about that later on in the show. All right, let's get into this, though. Cubs made this signing. Genesis Cabrera. Cubs signed him. So he was designated for assignment by the Mets, and then the Cubs were aggressive and they went out and got him, right? The Cubs got rid of Brooks, Kresge in that spot. I mean, it's, one of these guys came in, pitched 2 innings, got the job done. The Cubs had signed him to a minor league deal in the offseason. He gets to the big leagues. He's there for 1 outing and they get rid of him. Isn't that how baseball works these days? I mean, the guy did a really good job, but his reward, hey, you don't have an opportunity unless no one signs him. And then the Cubs would obviously love to have him back and put him in the organization. Now, back in AAA Iowa. Cabrera this year, 7 2/3 innings for the Mets, a 3.52 ERA. This is a guy that has pitched a ton in baseball, right? 278 career appearances, has an earned run average of 388, a 17-14 career record, and 275 strikeouts in just about that many innings, right? What the Cubs are hoping is that with Cabrera, that they might find something that could help him out, right? And I mean, look, I don't blame them. I mean, they're just hoping, hey, look, maybe we see something that somebody else didn't see. But he's a former Cardinal. You remember him as a Cardinal, then a Blue Jay, and then a Met this year. Looking at his information on Fangraphs, his fastball velocity is 95.9. The best he had was with the Cardinals in 2021, and it was 97.6. So, I mean, it's not like he's dropped a lot in velocity, and I think that's a good thing because it tells you that he's not sliding the wrong direction, and we kind of saw that with Presley when the Cubs made that deal. You start looking at him and you're like, man, this guy's velo is way, way down compared to, where he was, a few years ago. Right. But this is a guy that has a sinker, a changeup, a fastball. He's got 5 total pitches, but mostly kind of balanced between sinker, changeup, fastball, and 4-seamer, right? He's a pitcher who has a ton of experience and is a left-hander, 28 years old, 6'2", 180. It didn't work out with the Mets. He didn't really have much of an opportunity to go there. The Cubs found Drew Pomeranz kind of the same way. They found him in the minor leagues, but, here's another castaway guy that they can dig into and hope that maybe he's a guy that's ready to really help them, right? Middle relief guy. He's not going to be back end. He's going to be a middle relief guy. But, hey, look, I'm not blaming them at all for making this move. I mean, it's everything you're trying to do right now to get outs later in the game. And it's eventually going to be trades that they're going to make, but right now you're not trading. So you either find somebody on the basically castaway market or somebody in your minor league system like Daniel Palencia, who's got 4 saves. Hey, good for him. But my point is that if it's not guys that are in your system, you're looking for guys that are kind of cast away. Shōta Imanaga starting to work towards returning, starting to throw. This is a guy that the Cubs definitely need, and he has never stopped throwing, as he's dealt with his injury, which you got to love about him, right? Like, of all the things, like, hey, he never, ever slowed down. And even though he was out of action for a little while, still going out there and doing the work that it takes to be a pitcher. So he's still throwing. I don't know how long it's going to take for him to really get back into this rotation. But what I'm guessing is this, and kind of just looking at things the way that they are right now. He comes back. You cannot take Cade Horton out of this rotation. Ben Brown's the guy in the rotation that pitches 2 or sometimes 3 really solid innings, and then everything falls apart. Maybe his role would be better served to be in the back end of the bullpen. He's got that kind of stuff. Hey, just go get 3 outs. Do what you got to do to get 3 outs. It feels like Ben Brown's going to be that guy that the Cubs convert to the back end of the bullpen if everybody kind of gets back healthy at the same time, right? And meaning that, so many of these injuries, like, okay, now there's an injury, and then there's another one, and then you're just trying to piece it together. If you have everybody healthy at the same time, maybe Ben Brown helps you in the back end of the bullpen. That's going to be a decision the Cubs are going to have to make. But I feel like he's a guy that's got the kind of stuff that can do that. It's just for him, it's been the consistency of being able to go out there and get outs 5 or 6 innings. It just seems like there's always that bad inning. Maybe being in the bullpen is going to be the thing that helps not just him, but this Cubs team. So, we'll see. But anyway, look, Cubs take on the Reds, Wrigley Field. You cannot beat one of these day games at Wrigley Field. Absolutely love it. It's going to be exciting. The Reds are, one of those pain teams. You just don't ever get comfortable because they can give you a lot of problems. But the Cubs went there and handled them in their ballpark. Now we'll see what happens at 2:20 at Wrigley Field tomorrow. Well, today. So anyway, that's where we are right now, guys. Thanks for being here. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. We'll do it again tomorrow. And we'll have, more to talk about, because you can tell there's a lot of stuff going on right now within this organization. There's a lot of stuff going on where we're trying to figure out exactly what this Cubs team's going to do at the deadline, if they can even get there. How do they get there? So being in first place, there's a lot of, questions on, how do you maintain? And that's kind of where they're at right now. But talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks for being here. And again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, go Cubs.